Doctor Who fandom.
No fucking
so this question, Abby, Mary, and I are not allowed to answer.
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
No, seriously.
Hey, no, seriously.
All right.
You tell me I can't answer a Doctor Who
because
question.
we are too personally involved.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm not that personally.
I want to hear Hiromi.
I have a
want to
knife
hear.
that you can borrow if you want to shake it.
I'm gonna
I want to hear
shake him
Dom
with
and
a
Hiromi.
Don't shake with a knife.
All right, yeah.
Don't tell me what I don't shake with.
So the Doctor Who fandom went ape shit over the new female Doctor.
Oh yes, we can answer this.
When is it okay to have a character who changes gender, race, and sexuality?
And you didn't want the way to answer this?
Hey! I'm not done yet.
Oh, this bitch.
Put dramatic pause.
Is the world really ready for that? Or are we 20 years away from that breakthrough?
Okay.
Hiromi, you first.
I don't care if the world's ready. Do it now.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
We will make the world ready.
Here's the thing about radical change. We're always 20 years away from being ready for what happened.
That's what I was saying.
Fucking
Do it
now.
That was there was no better example than this than the suffragist movement, which literally was just like, niggas get the back. We gotta talk about women's rights, black women's rights, and like every time it was brought up was just a constant problem. Because what they wanted needed to happen, but like bringing everybody along wasn't possible, and it's just I
got arrested.
and I was so proud of them because they were not brave enough to make a black 007.
Yeah.
Which made it all the way up to the end.
They did do an audio version of the Black 007 and the world went insane. They were like, no, this is not okay. But I'm like, it's an audiobook. You can't even see his face.
But nobody from the UK is black.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
like, we don't exist or something like that.
But when this happened, and it's the same thing.
Idris Elba needs to be the next Doctor.
But it's also what's happening with
star and everything.
With the new Star Wars is fandoms hate new information.
Yes.
Which is why fandoms kill franchises.
Yeah.
Because
It needs to stay pure.
hate new information. The new Star Wars. Everybody seen it?
Nope.
Yup.
All right.
Nope.
Oh damn.
Nope.
Damn.
I don't care about spoilers. I don't care about spoilers.
The entirety of the new Star Wars movie was everything we told you was important was a lie.
Yeah,
and
it's a lie.
all you need to do
The cake was a lie.
The cake actually not a lie.
Actually, it's real.
But that's all it was.
I'm really just gonna watch it for space jewelry.
Rip the bandage off. Tell your art in the truest form. If you, as an artist, are given charge of a franchise, something that has deep roots, and there's something in there inside of you that wants you to take this a left turn in Albuquerque, fucking do it. Be honest to your artist.
Yes.
Because while you will lose however many garbage people you lose, I guarantee you there is a new generation of people who are ready to take that cocaine to Asia.
Oh my God. So I will say, I agree with absolutely everything you're saying, except when it comes to Bruce Wayne. Do not make him black. Why? Because white male privilege in Gotham, in New York City, would only exist as a white man.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everybody else, I don't care.
Well, here's the thing.
Everybody else doesn't care.
He does dress in black.
But here's the thing.
I'm gonna smack the shit out of you.
But I would give somebody the room to, I will give anybody the room to fail. If they could, because we got Black Spider-Man, we got in a world built on infinite universes, there is no
Also, Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I would definitely go white male privilege on that one.
But Forge. Forge is just Tony Stark who didn't put a suit on.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Also, and
for
Native American.
Yeah. But
let's not forget that.
Yeah. But we can. So yeah. But yeah, it's you can do anything with it. Giving people the room to fail with race and not having it weigh down the race that they failed is kind of the crux.
Yeah.
Make a black Bruce Wayne. fuck it up and be like, well, that didn't work. Because you're saying it doesn't work, but I have no empirical evidence that it does not work. I have no empirical evidence that a alien, black, lesbian Bruce Wayne, who just has a 16-foot long tongue and 20 dicks that are
I
actually
feel like we're being tokenized
doesn't
right
work.
here.
This is getting really specific.
Yes, but I have no
I think
evidence
he's been
that
watching too much
doesn't work.
hentai.
I will read your fan script.
Your slash fiction has credence, but we might be afraid of how much hentai you're watching.
Never be afraid of the hentai gathering.
Just be aware that I
You're
will
too
give
easy.
honest
I'm
criticism.
totally gonna do the pop-up.
Can I say
wait,
one
wait,
thing
wait,
about
hold
the
on,
female
one
doctor though? Honestly,
Fair. On topic.
what Don said is exactly true. Like, why is everyone speculating right now without actually watching the episode?
Yeah.
Watching her first episode.
Yeah.
Why is everyone already saying that she's not going to be good enough? Because of the fact that they've seen nothing. They've literally seen, even with the first announcement of the outfit, everyone was already hating on it. Even though she represented mostly every single other doctor that came before her. Why in the world
Fucking
are
neckbeards,
some
man.
people so angry? Why can't we just wait till the episode to happen and see what happens then? I didn't like Matt Smith. Fucking hated Matt Smith.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I hated Matt Smith. There were some other people that I didn't like either.
Do you know how many Star Trek purists I know
You
refuse to watch Star Trek
realize you're
Discovery?
gonna get in an accident on the way home because we're saying that.
Yeah. I don't care. I don't even care.
Why is
I
this
don't
bomb
care.
attached to my car?
Alright, yeah, I'm just saying.
David-
I'm just saying.
David
I am
Tennant-
Middle Eastern. I wouldn't start your car.
Oh!
All right.
David Tennant was my favorite doctor. I don't care what anybody says. I know there's some people that
Okay,
don't
do
like
not
him.
start your car now.
I don't care. I really don't care.
All right.
But
That's because
honestly,
you didn't watch all of number 4.
But at least
the
you're gonna
whole
try to give a new
situation,
woman
the
a
whole
chance.
situation is I watched every single episode before I said anything.
Yeah.
Because that's how you're supposed to judge something. You're not supposed to judge it based on
I-
speculation.
Look at
real quick, guys. I would like to address the one question that's within this question, and because we've had really talked, we kind of tiptoed on it, real quick.
Go ahead.
But they went, when is it okay to have a character who changes gender, race, or sex?
It's never
When it's
gonna be okay.
believable.
It's
When it's
never gonna be
okay.
It's never gonna be okay.
Almost,
No,
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 not, I mean, I don't mean okay in terms of society being ready. I mean, when
It's always okay.
when there's nothing specifically in a character's development or storyline or source material that says,
They have
I
to be
am
this
of this
race
culture.
all the time.
I will.
Yeah.
They
I
even
will
said
say-
in the Doctor Who episode, the Doctor Who universe, that there was once a time when he was a woman.
Yeah.
You actually saw another Time Lord that was female turn into, or that was male turn into a black woman. I mean, like, I'm really not
Yeah.
understanding why there's so many
Because,
people that are angry about this.
I'm trying to picture a world though, just playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to picture a world where a director gets a hold of the Apache Chief script.
Oh!
It's just like, but
That's
let's
just a
change
whole-
race.
that's a whole
Like, I'm trying to picture, so I'm trying to picture.
Let me sound fucking DC history right there.
Oh
my God.
So I'm trying to, like, I get the concern. I guess it's really a plea. Not even a plea. It's more of like dad needs to, or mom, or they, or parent needs to grab a hold of collective fandom and give it a solid shake until
Yeah.
the brain dislodges from the wall.
Yeah.
Because fans say they love something. But they need to understand that they do not own it.
Yeah.
Right.
They do not control it. It
Right.
is not theirs.
Right.
That the entity, the living, breathing entity that is that thing that they love needs to be given the space to fail and to succeed,
Thank you.
to impress
Amen.
and to die.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, it's not just the things that you love that you're hindering, but it's also all the new things that could come. Because think of, I mean, I look at a lot of like manga and anime and things like that, and the amount of fear from creators about changing anything, or even like when Wizards of the Coast introduces in a story like a female lead or a trans lead or a gender queer lead, like how much fear the R&D and story teams have inside of them. Like they still do it because there are people there that carry that fear, but burdening them with that is irresponsible as a fandom. And I understand that we have been betrayed, that we've been fireflied,
Yes.
that other things have happened to us that have scarred
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
We're not gonna talk about Enterprise, okay? Fuck that theme song right up your ass.
We've been Buffy too.
Or just
Don't get me
Whedon.
started on Joss Whedon.
Actually, yeah, Joss Whedon
Joss
lately.
Whedon.
Don't
Like
even
there
start.
are things that have been taken from us.
Yeah.
But we as fans cannot truly love something and keep it in a box.
Yeah.
Like it is the same thing
Yeah.
we
You have
talk
to be
about
open to
relationships.
let it develop.
We talk about it with
You have to
relationships.
set it
We talk
free.
about it with everything. Like you have to let it have its life.
Yes.
And then judge it on its merits and diverge. Like that's why canons are malleable.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing that is sacred.
Yeah.
Every holy text can be created
Yeah.
and destroyed.
Yeah.
And edited,
Every relationship
which is the
can be
original
torn.
word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Edit. That's what I want.
Case in point, like I talked with a customer one day about, and he was a middle-aged man, about the Wonder Woman movie. And he said, yeah, you know, Gal did a really great job, but that accent is not the Wonder Woman I grew up with. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Because, holy shit, dude, Themyscira, ancient Greece, she's like, the accent that Gal has in that movie is what her accent should have been in every screen adaptation of Wonder Woman up until this point. The fact that you didn't have that growing up is the travesty. The fact that we have grown up with a quote-unquote whitewashed Wonder Woman, so to speak. I mean, she's Grecian, but whatever. You know, it is the travesty itself. Like, her accent is as close to what her character should have to date. So, fuck you.
I was actually talking to someone about Star Wars last night, and we're talking about how the director apparently has been offered to do 3 more movies. Yeah. What?
Like okay.
That's fighting words.
Okay.
I know, because first of all,
I
I love the fact
extend the
that
universe, but I want there to be 9 Star Wars and then a million other movies. Like, I just don't want it to be Star Wars Han, Star Wars this, Star Wars that, Star Wars 11. I want there to be 9 movies, shelf, and then expand the universe.
And then everything
to-
else side story.
Okay, good. It's
Yeah,
not gonna be
I
Star
mean, I
Wars
would have said that
episode
if you
11.
let me finish.
I was
but,
scared.
You know.
I was scared.
She was acting on fear.
I specifically did not throw this away so that I could throw it at someone. If you want to just do that.
I'm saving it for the next time.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm pretty sure it'll happen.
But I will say, I think our basic point is basically like, you know, as long as like your source material doesn't have any specific restrictions,
Yeah.
go ahead and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool
If it's,
thing,
as long as the character is believable.
the cool thing with this Star Wars is that, first of all, it's a POC person that's the lead. Okay. Then you have women put in these major roles as generals, and
No way.
as
Oh my god,
and they're the ones.
Admirals,
and
I
they're-
believe.
and they're-
I think it's a little bit reaching.
I'm not gonna finish because the men keep talking on top of me.
Actually.
And so the cool thing about it is that, you know, because I knew it was gonna happen again. You have these women, and they're the ones that are telling these men what to do. And it was nice to finally get to see that, because guess what? I was in the Navy for 10 years. Never once did I see that. Not once. The only woman that was. It's still not happening, honey. It's still not happening.
I do believe we have a woman that is. I'm escalating.
I got an empty bottle.
You know, some of my friends that are involved right now are being led by idiotic men who are throwing them into places of danger and have not done their history or have their research or anything like that. The fact that you had this person who is, because I can't, well, I can do spoilers. So
Yeah,
you
that's
have
fine, I'll give a fuck.
have you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have this woman,
Mary's the
and
only one who hasn't.
at the very end,
She's
like
not
she
sure.
has an end goal,
Oh,
and
God.
it's the thing that saves all of them. Well, okay. I don't know if this is spoiling anyone else, but
By the time this comes out,
If you haven't seen it by
you haven't
now.
seen it by the time this comes out. Get fuck yourself.
See Star Wars.
sorry. Okay.
Go see Star
You
Wars.
poor assholes. Crystal critters! Crystal critters!
But you have this woman, and no one knows no one except the essential people know what she's doing, you know. And there's all these other women that are with her, and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, Flyboy. Go sit down so we can take care of the fleet. And it was I was pissed off at her at first until I found out what she was doing at the end, and I was like, okay, so this is years of conditioning where I was always told to shut up and do my job and not speak my opinion. And it was the same situation where he was speaking his opinion, thinking that she was in the wrong, and in actuality, she was doing whatever she could to take care of everyone and ended up sacrificing herself too. So yeah.
But more importantly,
Um,
like the punctuation on that entire moment of Poe being a mutinous bastard and should have been ejected into space, because he should have. Like if he wasn't the fuck symbol for the franchise right now, he would have been ejected into space because this is an actual war and life and death.
Yeah.
Like this is the enemy is at our door. This was what Battlestar Galactica is made out of this entire thing,
Yeah.
which was a risky premise, whatever. But everything he did, but when Leia comes through the door and without a word puts his ass down,
Yeah, shoots him.
like that would have been. But
Shoots
the
him.
fact that it was stunned fucked with me. Like he should have been deaded. Because you don't.
He is one of their best pilots, though.
You don't murder your bomber fleet for pride and then cause a mutiny against your standing admiral after your entire fleet has been decimated and not get summarily executed.
Yeah.
Like in front of everybody to make sure it doesn't happen again. Head on Spike, which is covered in crystal critters, because fuck the point.
But I did like how they both had their little conversation about him being spunky. And that she liked him.
Yeah, but it went back to him being the fuckable one. Like, the entire reason he's around is because he's fuckable.
Him being fuckable.
I don't think that's cute.
I don't.
No, I don't either, but
Like,
that's the entire
basically
thing.
every other member of the main cast.
Yeah, right? Oh, Rose?
Yeah.
Rose?
I think
wanna
this
take her.
question is
I want to
completely
take her to an escape pod. Meow.
Okay, so I think we should move on to the next question. I didn't
Okay.
get any of that.
That's fine.
You didn't ask, bruh.
Did you?
Also, you were like super hydrating.
My teenage son was going off about white boys like Ed Sheeran. Sharon?
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran, yeah.
He's British.
All right.
Damn.
Like that makes it important.
It does, because he's like amazing. Hello.
Appropriating rap. I told him we don't rap. He spit back that we can't all be one big human race until we all have equal rights. Was I in the wrong? Can the panel
Read that again.
can the panel speak more about the difference between appropriation and appreciation?
Yes.
One more time.
Yep.
One more time.
Mary and I just talked about this outside.
One more time, real quick.
Okay.
Son,
Louder for the folks in the back. Woo!
my teenage son was going off about white boys like Ed Sheeran appropriating rap.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran appropriating rap. I told him we don't rap. He spit back that we can't all be one big happy family until we have equal rights. Was I in the wrong? Is the first question. Second question, can the panel speak more about the difference between appreciation and appropriation?
I can answer the second question. Anybody want to touch on the first?
Appreciation.
No, the first question. Was I in the wrong? Was she in the
Was
wrong?
he?
That person in the wrong.
Was he saying it
For me,
because
there's a couple pieces of information missing here.
yeah.
I need to know if the person is black, and like to answer that. And well, I guess either way, really, no, you're not wrong if all you said was that you don't rap. Like, I can't say that you are wrong.
Did they say I don't rap or we don't rap?
I told him we don't rap. So I'm assuming, and wild assumption, best case scenario, this is a person of color, a black person specifically, telling their son that we don't rap. Why should we be worried about this white person like rapping? Like, we don't even do it.
Yeah. That's
And
answered on both sides of the spectrum.
yeah, I feel like your son is gung ho, ready to go, locked and loaded, social justice general, getting out there on the front lines.
In which case
like
he should call
Alexander
you.
the Great. Yeah, which is great. Like I love that he's saying that, but at the same time, with youth and vitality and vigor comes a certain amount of naivete, which is something that I've talked about a bunch of times on here, and I use rap specifically, is that especially cultural phenomenons grow to an unmanageable point.
Yeah.
They grow to something that's so great, and recently I've been seeing a big push in the anime culture to stop dividing what anime is. Like, I have officially switched bandwagons, and now for me, Afro Samurai, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nope.
These are now anime for me.
Nope. Avatar's not an anime.
I
Nope.
wholheartedly disagree now,
It's not.
and in a recent way.
I'm with you.
Yeah, like but why?
Created by Western white people with just so happens to be an Asian team. Not without respect to Asian culture.
But
it's not typically
but-
an anime. It
Why
has
do you
anime
think- why do you
elements,
think
but
it
it's
is
not
anime?
anime.
Anime, like rap, has grown to an unmanageable point. It is now something that it involves everybody. And if you're including Afro Samurai,
It's a cartoon.
Actually, I haven't seen it, so.
Afro Samurai is goddamn anime.
Yeah.
Like, it is
I gotta-
anime.
I gotta inject on that one because I actually disagree with you on it quite a bit.
Okay.
Because if a Japanese director with a white team can make a animation about white kids in a British high school, and we call it anime, we can call it a video.
Anime is specifically it's a very specific style, though.
But
That
it's
has
not.
originated-
But it's not. Anime is
It's
so
not.
many different
It is
styles.
not.
And it is
not a very
constantly
specific style.
evolving. It is
But
constantly
it's not a
evolving.
Western style.
But it's not. But neither is writing in English. But anybody can write in English. Like it is evolving. It is evolving so rapidly, and there are so many different styles involved in it. And what we're seeing right now is kids raised on He-Man and like Lupin the Third making cartoon and Lupin the Third making anime. Like, they're fusing them together in this beautiful form. And Avatar: The Last Airbender is anime.
Moving
It is
on.
an anime convention.
Moving on.
It is, but
Moving
it's the
on.
same thing with rap. It's the same thing with rapping. Like, why are we giving free license for hip hop for rap to go international, but we won't give it to anime?
Because anime was something that was based in Japanese culture.
And rap is
And
something
Korea.
that was based in black culture, African American culture.
As he countered with me earlier.
Yeah, actually, it was not. It was not. It was not originally done by the black culture.
He's probably said actually so many times as.
But the only reason I say that is because there were a lot of white singers, there were a lot of actual Asian singers, and there were actually even Middle Eastern singers that were doing it at the same exact time, even within the 80s and probably within the 70s.
But-
that actually made, was it like a George Michael?
But hip hop has 4 pillars.
Yeah.
It is breakdancing, MCing, DJing, and graffiti. Those 4 pillars are only found in the black culture that evolved what is now hip hop and rap.
Specifically New York.
Specifically New York. You might rhyme to a guitar, that's gravy. But what is rap and what is hip hop comes out of black people. It is literally the descendant of rock and slave songs.
I disagree. I disagree with you on that.
And you are allowed to disagree.
And
No, he's right. He's absolutely 100% allowed to disagree.
Because
just like we
in my
disagree about
culture,
anime.
we rapped way before New York. Way before that. We did not have, it didn't come from the slaves over there. It did not come from that. So how can it come from that?
But you rhymed to your music.
No, we rapped.
You rhymed to your
We
music,
rapped.
but it was not hip hop.
No.
It was not hip hop. The four pillars establish what hip hop is, and from there it blossomed.
I disagree with you on that. And because I'm like, well, what we call rap, does not, just because we're not black or we did not come from that black culture, does not dissuade our art form and degrade it.
Did we
because
call
of
it rap before black culture started it?
We
started doing
didn't
it?
have a name. They did not have a name.
Nothing doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
What was its name?
I was like, rap, when it first started in the 70s and 80s, they didn't call it rap. They didn't call it rap until the late 80s. So when it was starting, it did not have a name. That rhyming to the beat and to the music in a very specific form did not have a name. It did not have a culture. It did not have a race because it was found across the entire globe.
That's just singing.
Okay.
But what makes rap different are the four pillars.
So you're equating rap and hip hop as the same construct.
Rap is an evolution of hip hop. Hip hop comes first, and the four pillars establish what it was. Before then, you could sing to anything, and you can sing in a million different ways. Like Gaelic songs could have been rap because they rhymed.
There's a very
Scottish
specific
reference is really
style.
funny to me.
There's a very specific style that comes with rap that.
But that's not what. But even nowadays, what we're seeing is there's an infinity of styles that blossom from a point.
Yes.
And so there was soil across the world, but the seed was in New York. And that is what grew into the named hip hop, which grew into rap. And that comes from the four pillars.
Well, see, I believe that rap actually was way before hip hop. See, because the way I'm looking at the style of rap and the way I hear the way it's constructed, it happened way before hip hop happened. Because, I mean, when you have that reggae style, when it started to move past the reggae movement into more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reggaeton?
I don't want to call it reggaeton. What I would refer to as rap, when it moves past that, the point where it's more of the cadenced speech patterns that happen. And when it moved past that, it was no longer reggae. It was now this new form.
Yeah.
And that's what we ended up calling rap. And that's where we got George Michael pulling it from. That's where we got Salt and Pepper pulling it from. No Doubt was pulling from there. I mean, it was all pulled from that point. So, but that was before hip hop even. So I don't even know, that's what I'm saying, I don't understand what you're saying it came from hip hop. That rap came from hip hop. I believe it was the other way around. That hip hop actually formed from that rap. It was hip hop was the version of taking it without the cadence and moving it more into soul and rock and roll, while rap in itself then actually evolved into more of a, even what we now hear today, what are some, I'm trying to think of some artists.
I don't do
like Dr. Dre.
Like Dr.
Biggie,
Dre,
stuff like that.
Biggie,
Yeah.
the things like that. Am I wrong on thinking it that way? Or?
I feel like you're discounting the existence of R&B and its legacy. Because a lot of that, especially in George Michael, is very R&B.
R&B,
and which is rhythm and what?
Blues, yeah.
Which is what? The grandfather of rap. Which is the grandfather of hip hop. So I get that entire thing, that entire section, yes, grandiose. But that is a different lineage. It is the cousin of. And it is in that R&B line, and I give it that. But what is hip hop? And it has been like is in its kind of like establishment are the four pillars. And you have to have an MC, DJ, breakdancing, and graffiti established the entire movement. And there are a lot of different forms of that now, and a lot of it, and I've had some really great introductions to many cultures rapping now, to many cultures being involved in it. And there's no fighting the Koreans for breakdancing. They have won. It is breakdancing.
Like 10 years.
Right, it is
watch this guy for like 10
breakdancing
years.
and StarCraft is their entire thing. Like they've got that and it's growing. But going back to where we were, which
What was the question?
Back to the
Well,
question.
actually, we were actually answering the
The
question.
reason
Yeah.
why you were
Is
pointing
it
on that is because you were like,
Well,
yeah,
I
trying to
had
figure out like,
yeah,
why they can't
so
just
that
have
can be-
white, like
yeah, I want to say,
no
I want
one
to
owns
say,
it. Like-
I want to say to the mom though that the one thing he was right on is we cannot be one big human race until we have equal rights. Absolutely, but that I guess the giant squid comes after the tentacles,
Yeah.
after the hip hops, after the after
You really want me to read that fan script?
Yes, after all of these things that reach out before it, all of these cracks and crevices that we grow through that spread across cultures, because you can't be a German rapper and not listen to Run DMC. Like you have to go back to these roots and understand it. And the difference between appreciation and appropriation
Boom.
is, I mean, are
different.
you taking money off of
Respect.
other people's backs?
No,
Yeah.
the difference is respect.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go around fucking just wearing some other culture's ceremonial garb on the red carpet.
Or pretending
without,
to be their god.
Yeah, well, yeah. You can't go around like just fucking like wearing whatever, spewing whatever without having the pre-knowledge and the research into that other culture. Like, if you want to take a martial art, go for it. You're going to fucking learn a lot about the culture, where it originates.
Yep.
But you're not going to go around and just wear a gi for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference. We actually were arguing earlier about like if we wanted to, somebody could argue the difference would be Eminem versus Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
I would say Eminem would be appreciation and Vanilla Ice would be appropriation.
Way 100%.
I think that's the most obvious example possible. 100 points. I'd never thought of that. 100 points to Gryffindor.
Thank you. Match this.
Actually,
Thank you,
I would
thank you.
Actually, address something though with like when we talk about appreciation and appropriation though. We had to really, really careful though. I don't want to say this on this one. It's because, for example, in Israel right now, there's a really popular artist named Alain Delojo. And Alain, his name is Alain Delojo.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what he does would be, if we're released here, would be construed as rap. But over there, it's not seen as rap because that's just how the music sounds. So, when we say that, it's like, when we go, okay, we have to understand where the culture is from, who is doing it. Are they trying to emulate somebody, or is this their culture?
If it ain't got 808s on it, it ain't rap.
Yeah, right?
If it ain't got the 808s.
I'm like, if you were to look at him, he's
Yeah.
tattooed like crazy,
Yeah.
where, you know, and it just, but because of the language itself, because he is speaking Arabic and he's speaking Hebrew at the same time, and what happens is it creates this very guttural, very harsh, very cadenced speech, and that if I were, I would say he sounds kind of like Eminem.
Let's get to the cadence of black people that became rap comes from there. Comes from Africa, which has roots all the way back to Israel and
You're the
Palestine.
original people.
Like the cadence may not have changed, but there's a difference between a lot of other things and what is hip hop and rap. Like we never lost our cadence.
Yeah.
They beat us, they changed our language, they stole our gods, and we were still out there in the field. Day never ending, Massa got me working. Someday Massa set me free.
Yep.
Like we kept our cadence and we kept our soul.
Yes.
And a lot of people forget that constantly, but but as much as you want to forget it, it's still there. Like you'll be cooking and a beat will come on and your butt starts bouncing, and you just won't stop. Like that's
why I feel when I hear flamenco.
Yeah.
My hips start going and I can't stop them.
I've been really curious to do some research on the type of like how much it has changed from like the old style songs and how much they've branched away or how they've changed or if they've been kept. Because I'm like, that's actually just got me going. I wonder.
But like,
I'm gonna have to do some research on that one.
But like the Moors' trip through Portugal and everything like that, like dramatically affected their art and language, and which is where they came with fado, which is one of their cultural musical styles, and it is this deep, sorrowful, like ballad singing over a 12-string guitar, and it comes as this giant mixture, but it has in parts that cadence that feels so natural to me as an African American, and hits tones with me because of the way that the words are put together. And it comes off of those prayers that were sung out of towers in the middle of town. That cadence will never go away. It's our heartbeat.
Sure. I think what we're getting at is like more often than not, people want to respect other cultures, and when they're interested in something, they're going to do their research. They're going to read up. They're going to talk to their friends.
At least they're supposed to be doing that.
Absolutely. and like we said earlier, it's definitely important to do your research before you start creating something outside of your culture.
Yeah.
But shit, I had a point and I don't remember what it was. Just know that if you are like a pasty white person and you just start having blonde cornrows, somebody's gonna talk to you.
You mean vacation braids? But
friends, thank you very much.
Yeah. But and another point, and I think that parents are the biggest contributors to appropriation ever. Because like the first time a parent says YOLO, you see the internet shut the fuck down. Like it's like no.
Carpe diem is the same exact thing, and it's classier.
Like generational appropriation is also a really big part of it. So if you want to know the difference between the two, like really look at the language you're trying to say cool to your kid. Like that's the feeling of appropriation.
Yeah.
Like speak to them as you speak to your friends. Speak to them with your truth,
and
not
for fuck's sake, like
you won't do it right.
And for fuck's sake, like I think a lot of people will feel some sort of twinge of an inherent guilt or this is wrong if they wear something or adopt a manner of speech that is not their culture, but they have zero knowledge, you know?
And if you
get that feeling, stop.
Then don't do
Just fucking stop.
Yeah.
The knowledge part is really key there because like you're talking about karate, like if someone goes, all right, I'm gonna put on a gi and a black belt. No.
You go through the discipline.
Clear example of appropriation. But if someone says, I like Japanese culture, I want to go to this dojo and learn karate, spend some years, and then put on a black belt, or rather have one presented to them, then that is appreciation. That is them going.
That's respect. Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Like,
if you're just like randomly slapping on some kimonos and know nothing about a tea ceremony, and you're just like sitting around and like talking like fucking Becky from the Valley, like like no, don't do that.
Well, okay, so
but if you actually know what you're doing,
I have something to say about that. So I have a really good friend who it's so nice to have people actually come to you and ask questions. I've had so many people since I've been more just, I don't know how to describe it, but I've had more people come like like message me and say, hey, I have a question. If I do this and this and this, is it okay? Or do you think it's okay? Or I'm asking this question because I honestly want to know because I don't understand and I want to understand. And the cool thing is we were having a tea ceremony and one of her friends that came back from Japan and got her a kimono for her birthday. And she wanted to know if it was okay for her to wear it. And I told her, I was like, honestly, I can't answer that question for you because it's not my culture. I would say no, just you know what? We're all gonna do a Downton Abbey theme. How about we all dress up like we're from the 1920s so that you don't have to worry about any of that. And she thought that was a great idea. You know, in situations like that where I don't know, and I wouldn't do it myself unless I asked a friend, of course, of the culture and find out if it's okay or not. But it's nice and it's an amazing feeling to have, you know, friends privately message me and say, hey, I want to do this cosplay and it requires this, this, and this. Do you think this is a good idea if I do this? A lot of it involves either tanning or contouring or, you know, whatever they want to say that it is. And, you know, a lot of it comes down to, well, are you naturally that color when you tan or whatever? Or, you know, are you trying to play an actual, you know, human culture or human race and everything? So I think a lot of it is just, you know, if you don't feel like it's comfortable, then just ask because there's always people that are interested in educating.
And we did touch on this quite a bit.
Yeah, we did talk about it
about
too.
cosplaying and whiteface and doing different skin tone things.
And it's still all over the internet.
And it's still all over the
talking
internet.
about it. And everybody's still wrong.
We will keep talking about it too until people learn.
Yeah. One of the most recent things was the the woman who asked a question about portraying a Kyoshi warrior. And she was a black woman.
And our lovely group.
Our lovely group.
Group.
And my theory was because it's Avatar and they're not, I mean, yes, you can see cultural influences for sure, but they're not in the show specifically saying, I'm Asian, I'm black, I'm Antarctic, like, you know, whatever.
Those fucking penguins.
But there were people who were trying to be culturally sensitive, saying, you know, I might not be Chinese or Chinese.
Do it.
But the one person that got to me was, do some of the makeup, but don't do the white foundation.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind.
Yeah,
I was
makes
like,
sense, though.
It doesn't make any sense because the whole point of the makeup as a Kyoshi warrior, regardless of the influences of geisha and kabuki or whatever, the whole point of the Kyoshi warrior makeup is to look like you're wearing this mask and you're in solidarity with your fellow warriors. And at that point, you are not an individual. You are one of the warriors, and you are a solid force to be reckoned with.
Okay, because I'm looking at it as a place where, you know, the chick from Atlantis.
Right, so Katara could have put on the makeup.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
She doesn't have, like, they don't necessarily have to tan their face.
As a Kyoshi warrior.
Right.
But I actually wanted to
foundation.
interject on that little feed on that, but I didn't. But I was going to suggest to her that she actually just make a mask. And just wear a mask. Because at that point, if anybody is offended or anybody says something, it is an easy and quick solution to remove.
How diplomatic of you.
But
But it would be a
However, I would have gone to war. There's so many things that I'll go to war against, but I would go to war for that. I'd be like, I watched a dude put on blackface. I watched a dude put on blackface to be Jordy in a bathroom of Emerald City Comic-Con. If he was putting on makeup for a Kyoshi warrior, I would have high-fived him, give him 3/4 of my hand job, and walked away.
Because you're not dealing with actually doing anything to your natural skin tone. You're
Yeah,
just putting on the makeup for cosplay.
Yeah, and also the reason the makeup is there is dramatically different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not doing white foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
And that's what I was wondering. That's what I was saying.
whatever.
Like,
I think they were doing whiteface. No. Because it was
I'm gonna jump this 9-foot table.
Did you see me roll my eyes?
No.
Oh my god.